Hello everybody, this is Rashid, English language expert, and today we're going to talk about Describe Image of PTE, which appears to be very difficult because there is a lot of information and you are thinking how to make a comparison and contrast. So people get frustrated how to complete this task in 40 seconds. So in this video, I'm going to give you some tips which can really help you become fluent and improve your pronunciation and can give a complete picture and describe the whole of this image in 40 seconds without effort. You can do it effortlessly if you follow these tips. Remember, it's one of the crucial tests. It contributes to your marks of speaking, so you really need to work on this. If you're not able to do well, you're going to lose marks. So let's get into the video and find out how you can do well on this test. Let me tell you a bit about this, the format of this test. You will get about 5 to 6 images, and then you will get 25 seconds to prepare. Once the 25 seconds are over, the mic opens and you have to start speaking right away, and the computer starts recording your answer. You get 40 seconds to answer the questions. You have to complete your answer within 40 seconds, and once the 40 seconds are over, the answer is complete, the mic closes, and you are taken to the next question. What types of images you will get? You might get a line graph, a bar graph, a pie chart, table, a process or a diagram. You can also get a flow chart. There may be a map given to you where you're describing the map, where things are, how the things have been laid out for you. There could also be a floor plan, or there can be a photo of a park or a building that you might have to describe. Now let me give you a quick rundown of how this particular task is going to be marked. The very first thing and the most important thing is pronunciation. You have to give very clear pronunciation. You have to speak clearly so that the computer is able to record your answer. And then fluency. If you're not able to speak at the right rhythm, at the natural rhythm, you're not continuously speaking, there are lots of pauses, you might not get the score that you're looking for. So the fluency is the second important thing that you really need to work on to improve and to get the better score in this particular task. And lastly, the content. The content means that whatever is given in the picture, whatever the parts have been given in the picture, for example, if it's a line graph, how the line, the particular item in that line graph is increasing or decreasing, the number of years, the amount of dollars, for example, if that has been mentioned, you have to mention that in your answer. So these things, whatever is given in the x-axis or y-axis of the line graph, or if it's a bar graph, you have to mention the values which are given. So this is what these things are, which make up the content that you have to include in your answer. So what you are given marks for are the speed and rhythm of the speech, the voice quality, intonation, word choice, and pronunciation. But one thing, that it's a great thing that this task is not going to be marked for grammar. So if you're making grammatical mistakes, you will not lose marks. The main reason you're not able to become fluent is that you are worried about the grammatical structures, whether there are mistakes coming in. So your filter of looking at your grammar, how well you're speaking in terms of structures, is really bothering you. So in this particular task, you don't have to worry about it. Just go for the whatever language is coming your way, because the grammar has no marks. Even if the answers or the sentences are completely wrong, absolutely every sentence is having multiple mistakes, even then this is not going to take your marks away. So grammar is not one of your things that you should be worried about in this particular task. Now let me tell you a bit of what exactly the content is. If you look at this line graph, what you have is we have 3 bakeries: Bernie's Buns, Lovely Lou's, Robbie's Bakery. So this is what the content is. And on this side, what we see here, 120,000, 100,000, these are the yearly income in pounds. And the other thing is these years which are mentioned over here, 2000, 2001, all the way to till 2010. These are the things that you have to mention in your answer. This will make a content. You can also add a little bit of comparison and contrast in it. In this particular task, what you really need to focus is fluency. This is something that you need to prioritize, and other than that, you don't have to worry about anything. Fluency is the number one thing that you should be working on. And whatever the tips are involved in answering this question, the tips are revolving around this fluency, how you can be more fluent, because you get lots of marks if you're able to speak at a very right rhythm. You should not stop reading, you should not stop speaking. I mean, if you're getting confused, if you are bringing in pauses, you're worried about the grammar and trying to worry about the content, you are going to lose marks. So you should give priority to fluency over anything else. The next thing is don't feel confused about the figures. If you cannot mention any figures, don't mention some of the figures that you can. Just focus on the things that you can add, because it's not necessary to add everything. So focus on things that you can understand so that you can easily speak on them. Because confusion is going to lead to stuttering and saying like, so this is going to cost you a lot. So feel confident and continue speaking towards the end. And try not to repeat the sentences or the information that you have added. Look at the next content and continue adding the next the things that are given in the graph. The best way is to use a template, how to start, how to open the introduction, how to conclude. There are particular phrases that you can learn. In the description of this video, I have given a template that you can memorize. Just use that template and add the content wherever the blanks are. That is going to work like magic and you will get the score. So template is the best way because it helps you avoid the stuttering, stopping at certain places and getting confused. So template is really going to work for you. So learn the template. There are so many templates available on the internet. Learn any one of them and make good practice on them. But the problem is that sometimes people think that probably they have good grip on the template and they don't practice. Template will work only once you have done practice of about lots of questions. So make sure that you have done enough of the practice to have a full grip on the template. The first 25 seconds really are going to make a difference. During that 25 seconds, look at the topic, look at the different aspects of the graph, and you can take even notes if you want to, because those are the things which you are going to speak. So it's better to have a good overview of the things which are given. Now there are a few more things that you need to work on to become more fluent. Number one, don't add too much comparison and contrast. This task is quite different from IELTS. In IELTS, you really have to give a perfect introduction and then you have to analyze the graph and add the comparison and contrast in a perfect way. But here, a deep comparison and contrast is not required. Just a simple comparison and contrast would work. Because if you're too much into comparison and contrast, you will be losing fluency, which is not good for your score. And then you don't have to speak for entire 40 seconds. If you're able to speak, let's say 25 seconds or 20 seconds and your content is complete, you have added all the information that you needed to, you need to press the button to stop the recording. So that will end your answer. You don't have to speak for 40 seconds. Even 25 seconds, 30 seconds will do the job. Don't worry about vocabulary because this is not a test of your vocabulary or lexical resources like in IELTS where you have to really add lots of thick words to get good marks. But here, content, fluency and pronunciation, these are the only things that you need to worry about. And lastly, complex sentences, because you're adding lots of structures, difficult structures, you will be taking time to think about it because when you're writing, it's easier to think of the sentences and relate the information. But when you're speaking, it's so difficult to think of the longer sentences, the complex sentences, and in the middle of this, you will be losing the fluency, which is really important for getting marks. So focus on the fluency and don't worry about vocabulary and don't worry about sentences. And in the end, as I have already said, that grammar is not going to make much difference in this task, so you don't have to worry about that. So here are 3 different steps that you need to follow. Once in the 25 seconds, you have got enough understanding of the task. And when the audio opens, when the recording opens, start with the introduction. Talk about what exactly this task is about. The topic is usually given on the top of every image. So look at that topic that is going to give you the introduction. And then during 25 seconds, look at 3 to 4 points. Add those points into your content. That's going to do the job. That will be perfect for the score. Once you have added the introduction and then you have given 5 to 6 items from the task, now it's time for the conclusion. End your conclusion with your final thought, something that you learned from it, or even at the end you can just say, in conclusion, the image is very informative. The main thing is to keep this simple. Don't try to make it overly complex or difficult. Don't try to be over smart. Don't try to give lots of vocabulary because showing off your vocabulary and language is not going to work here. The task is to just be fluent and add the content. So being extra smart is not going to work. So it's better to stick to the simplicity, stick to something that is going to do the job instead of focusing things which are not going to work. Thank you very much for watching this video. Goodbye.